I will speak in English because Lithuanian is still a challenge for me. And I'm very happy for invitation, and I'm very happy that we can continue a discussion about public and cultural diplomacy that we started a few months ago in Vilnius at the National Library together with Rytis and the other one, the two Rytis, because this topic is still not very well known here in Lithuania, but also in Poland and in many other countries. I wanted to start with a short introduction of myself, and continue what Agata Etmanowicz started during the first session. And I arrived here in a tie as an official representing the Foreign Ministry of Poland. But during the event I decided to take off the tie to be more cultural practitioner. And actually this is true. So half of myself is a representation of the traditional, the old diplomacy, because I'm employed by the Foreign Ministry of Poland, like all the directors of the Polish institutes abroad. But the other half belongs to the cultural world, because I have spent several very interesting years at the Culture Ministry in Poland, dealing also with culture promotion abroad. I'm also very happy that the organizer decided to invite me here to speak about the Polish case, how the public and cultural diplomacy looks like in Poland, because Poland is a middle European country, so you would have a comparison and a wider picture of Lithuania as a small country, Poland as a middle country, and France as a big and very strong country when it comes to their cultural diplomacy. So I would say a little bit about the Polish system, which I found is quite an interesting case, a bit different than Lithuanian, and a bit different than the French one. I will show you the structure, the main actors. I will show you the problems, and I will also ask some open questions that might be a good food for thought for the discussion after our presentations. And at the end, I will also say a few words about our activities here in Lithuania, because it is also quite an interesting case, a bit different than the other Polish institutes abroad. As Arunas, Gelunas, Giedre, Aušrinė have already said, there is a never-ending discussion on what is the public and cultural diplomacy and what is the promotion of culture abroad. Are these terms similar? Are they complementing each other? Or is it a clash between public cultural diplomacy and promotion of culture abroad? And I must agree with the previous speakers that this area is full of contradictions, because we have a positive role of culture, but on the other hand we have destructive, negative way of culture, as it was presented before. We have a term of battlefield, but also we have a term of building bridges, building understanding. We have a term of culture being as a tool, but we also have culture being as a value. We have a term of culture as a showcase, or public diplomacy being perceived as a showcase, but we also have public diplomacy as a way of building engagement or involvement. This is going from culture 1.0 to culture 3.0, as Piero Luigi Sacco said already. So I would say that both of these terms, public and cultural diplomacy and promotion of culture abroad, is being used in Poland very actively. In the recent years, cultural diplomacy plays a little bit smaller role than before. We usually use the term of public diplomacy when it comes to the activities, for example, of my Polish institute. But we also have a very strong actions aimed at promotion of culture abroad. And the case of Poland is quite interesting because we have two main players. The first player is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The second one is the Ministry of Culture. And I took some excerpts from the official law on government's actions, areas, activities. It is translated very differently, from 1997. This is an official document which says which minister does what. So, you can find in this law, in this bill, a description of the actions of the Polish Minister of Foreign Affairs. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs is responsible for creating of Poland's image abroad, and it's also responsible for public and cultural diplomacy and supporting actions aimed at promotion of Polish culture, language, tourism, from one side. The other side is the Ministry of Culture, which, according to the law on government areas, is responsible for all areas of culture and also cultural exchange with abroad. And here we have the first clash. I would say clash or challenge, maybe, is a better word. Because we have two main actors, the cooperation between two ministers sometimes is very challenging. And here also the human factor is also very important. We have dozens of cultural institutions under the Ministry of Culture working abroad. This is, for example, the National Institute of Book, the Institute of Theatre, the Institute of Music and Dance, International Cultural Center, and so on, and so on, and so on. We have also cultural institutions like theaters, museums, music academies, music schools, that very often also organize their projects and performances abroad. Finally, we have Adam Mickiewicz Institute, which is the main institution in Poland responsible for promotion of Polish culture abroad and cultural exchanges. The Adam Mickiewicz Institute has also a significant budget, which is around 8 to 10 million euro per year. Is that enough? Not, of course. But when we look at the general picture, the overall picture, it's a significant amount of money that you can build upon. From the other side, from the side of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have a Department of Public and Cultural Diplomacy within the ministry, and we have also 91 Polish embassies around the world, 33 consulate general, and finally 25 Polish institutes, which are also dealing with public and cultural diplomacy. As I said, there is also a never-ending story of discussing the priorities of public cultural diplomacy, of combining the budget, combining the aims. This is also a huge challenge for us. Poland has quite a long tradition of public and cultural diplomacy or promoting its culture abroad. The first Polish institutes were established shortly before the World War II in Bucharest, London and Budapest. These are the three oldest ones. During the communist times, the institutes or cultural centers, as they were called, were established in many of socialist republics like Bulgaria, for example, Czechoslovakia, and so on. And only after the fall of communism, the institutes, for example, in Minsk, in Vilnius, in St. Petersburg, and in Kiev were established. Today we have 25 institutes. Most of them are situated in Europe, and most of them are situated around Poland, in neighboring countries. Why? Because it's always the most difficult task to talk and find understanding in your neighbor. So the Polish Institute in Vilnius was established in 1996. And today the Polish institutes are the main instruments of Polish public and cultural diplomacy. I would like to also show you some kind of a context of Polish public diplomacy, especially for 2019. And I took some excerpts from our priorities that are being drafted by the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs in cooperation with the Ministry of Culture. Maybe it's not very well visible, but I will read the most important ones that are very interesting. I will say why, you know why. In Poland, in Polish public diplomacy, public and cultural diplomacy supports foreign policy objectives and goals. This is the first excerpt. Secondly, the main aim of the Polish public diplomacy is to build positive image of Poland abroad. Third, public and cultural diplomacy needs to face international and internal challenges. And finally, culture is the best way to showcase Poland abroad, and strong cultural component is needed in public diplomacy. And a cooperation with Culture Ministry is necessary. These are excerpts from one document, and you can see some contradictions here. I would like to draw your attention to several words. Public and cultural diplomacy supports Polish foreign policy objectives. The public and cultural diplomacy needs to build positive image. It needs to face internal challenges, not only international ones. And the last case is culture is the best way to showcase. Do we have culture 1.0 or culture 3.0 here? This is also quite a challenging task. What are our priorities here in Lithuania, but also all around the world? For 2019, and the priorities change every year actually, we have 5 main areas of activities. No matter is it an institute in Vilnius, or in Tel Aviv, or in Tokyo, or in Berlin. So the first main priority is called Poland Involved. This is a priority that should present Polish contribution to a new political environment in Europe and the world. So, for example, in this priority, we have to focus on Polish contribution to NATO, the European Union, regional initiatives, Eastern Partnership, humanitarian aid, and so on. So this is the priority that, in theory, should support the foreign policy objectives of Poland. The second priority is called Poland, Civic Involvement and Solidarity. And here we should focus our actions on Poland's role in supporting democracy, intercultural dialogue, and civil society. Here we are also organizing projects related, for example, to 100 years since the regaining of the Polish independence, 30 years since democratic changes in Europe, and 80 years since the outbreak of the World War II. This is mainly about history here. The 3 other priorities are more related to culture and cultural diplomacy. Inspiring Poland, Creative Poland, and Heritage Builds Future. And here we are asked to organize projects around the design, architecture, but also medicine, modern culture, cuisine, sport. We need to promote Polish creative industries, but also Polish education, Polish science, to promote opportunities to study in Poland. And last but not least, we need to focus on culture. That means the heritage, UNESCO heritage, Polish literature, film, and also to promote tourism and Polish city. So actually, building on these 5 areas, we focus our work. And the Polish Institute in Vilnius, as I said, is one of the 25 institutes. It's relatively new. We are celebrating 23 years this year. It was established in 1996 officially. Before the Polish embassy in Vilnius, since 1992, was responsible for public and cultural diplomacy. And as an example, I found that the budget for 1992 for Polish public diplomacy in Lithuania was $600. And having this money, 10 big exhibitions were organized during the first year. 230,000 books from Poland were offered to libraries here in Lithuania, and so on and so on. Each year we are organizing around 100 to 120 projects here in Lithuania, focusing not only on Vilnius, Kaunas and Klaipėda, the main cities in Lithuania, but last year we were present in 16 Polish cities and towns. We, as a part of building a positive image of Poland, we had more than 500 positive articles, interviews, TV and radio programs about Poland and our actions here in Lithuania. And we have also partners in major cities in Poland and Lithuania, and most of the institutions, culture, educational institutions here in Lithuania are in touch with us. All the Polish institutes, as I said, are responsible for everything, starting from film and theater, through the music, art, language promotion. We are also doing language courses, Polish language courses. We organized some kind of projects related to promotion of Polish tourism. We focus also very much on history, especially here in Lithuania. As you know, we have shared hundreds of years of joint history, and this is a very, very good potential of building projects here in Lithuania. I will show you some photos of our projects just to show what we do and to show the areas we are focusing. As Ausina said, apart from the priorities we are given, I'm finishing. We are given from the ministry. What we do depends on human factor. So each director, each head of institute has its own interests, priorities and tasks and vision of the work, and it really depends on human factor. So for example, I try to focus on the youngest generation here in Lithuania. That's why we organize plenty of projects focused on the younger generations. We are also doing contemporary art, animation, exhibitions at major cultural centers. Of course, we are also doing theater, film, design and graphic design. We are also organizing concerts, and so on and so on. Fashion is the new area that we are involved in since 2016. We are offering study visits to Poland, which is also a very, very good tool to present contemporary Poland here in Lithuania. We are focusing also on the science promotion, but of course we are also doing plenty of projects which are considered public diplomacy, presenting Polish foreign priority goals, the Polish history, and some of our events are being also used to build bridges between the politicians and top-level officials. Here you can see the speakers of Lithuanian and Polish parliaments attending one of our exhibitions in Vilnius. Here is the speaker of the Lithuanian Seimas and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, also at one of our events. We are also publishing books. Here are two recent examples, one about the Polish-Lithuanian interwar diplomatic relations, and the other one about the Polish rights people that saved the Jewish population. And at the end, a few words about Wrocław, because Wrocław in 2016 was European Capital of Culture. It was a top priority for all the diplomatic missions of Poland, including the cultural institutes. And that's why we organized around 10 study visits to Poland, not only for the media and for journalists, but also for culture professionals, including film critics and film programmers, theater people, and so on. We were also promoting some projects about Wrocław. There was an exhibition. Wrocław was our focus during the Vilnius Book Fair, and we also published several information booklets about Wrocław itself as not only as a capital of culture, but also as a tourism destination. Although I'm finishing my mission in Lithuania this year, most probably, here officially I would like to say and confirm that Kaunas 2022 is also our top priority for our institute, and it's officially written in our strategy. And that's why we are supporting the organizers. We invited the team to visit Poland, Warsaw, Łódź and Wrocław, to meet with culture institutions, to meet with the organizers of Wrocław 2016. We are also supporting visits of experts here to Lithuania. Agata Etmanowicz was one of them. And we really hope that this cooperation will be continued in future years. Thank you very much. That was a short, or maybe not too short, presentation of our public and cultural diplomacy.
Thank you much.